Hello guys, welcome to one more Magic Inside podcast. Me and Artur have today a very, one of the biggest legends in Magic for me. It's the truth, you know that.
No,
Topas,
not because you're
it's
old,
the truth.
but because
You didn't pay me to say this. You didn't pay me anything to say this.
really old. Yeah, from Germany.
No, it's the truth. I'm really, and Artur as well, we are really excited to have you here. We have been spoke already because we have been the whole day together and it's been amazing. Thank you so much for coming. It means a lot to us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. And already, my head is spinning with everything you've showed me. And it's, I'm not, trying to be nice, but it's overwhelming the amount of creativity in these walls. The products you took to the market, some stuff you have shown me that nobody has seen yet.
That's right.
Which is very nice of you to to think that I won't tell anybody. I will tell everybody. No, but it's really amazing, and I can really connect to this problem of wanting to create original material, because I always love to do that. And there's the same problems all over the world. There's no shortcut to a great result. And when you talk about this, it's really very close to my heart, the way you approach magic.
Yes, I think we work a lot. It's something that I can see because you work more in grand illusions. You dedicate yourself to more original magic in that matter. Me is different because I sell for magicians, but I think that the path is the same. Some with failures, sometimes we succeed, sometimes we don't. But I think we do everything with our heart, because we love magic, and at the end of the day, it's what really matters. Don't you think?
I guess everybody says that. We're in it, passionate, and yes, of course, we've tried to find out now when did I land here? For hours, are there any recipes, any formulas, anything you can say in general how to develop new magic? We've asked ourselves, is it worth it? Because that's a question when you're a performer like myself, perform in front of an audience of normal people. They don't know what is original, what is not original. It's not a group of experts. So is all this effort worth it? And of course, the two of us have to say yes, or else we've spent
but
decades in vain.
Innovation in magic. I don't know if you agree, Artur, but I think yes. But with innovation, it's something really important, because if everyone does all the same thing, because our guest today, it's a legend, Topas. I mean, he has many original illusions, and we have seen the speaker, and when we thought, I remember that we thought about how was the method for the speakers. I remember perfectly, and it's unbelievable that now he's here with us, but innovation is very important, don't you think? I think that Topas is on the top of innovation in grand illusions and magic in general.
Of course, yes.
You're too kind.
I'm not.
And there's of course a lot of creative magicians. We've talked about many who don't get as much recognition because they may not be around in the magic scene as much as I love to be among magicians at magic festivals and so on.
You also
Peter Marvey, for instance, who I spoke to recently about certain projects, has done such a lot of inventions, and I don't know if all the magicians know just how much he has contributed to the canon of magic. So I'm aware that of course there's these legends to me like Jim Steinmeyer, who of course influenced magic, all of magic, but especially illusions as nobody else has. And I'm not saying this to make myself small in any way or being coquettish, but I think really this is, compared to somebody like Jim Steinmeyer, my contribution is modest. When I look at what his catalog of inventions and consulting and concepts, it's unbelievable. So there's in my mind a huge difference how about the amount of stuff that people leave behind. I don't know, every 100 years, 200 years, there's somebody like Jim Steinmeyer who leaves so many things behind for all of us to perform.
It's a legacy.
Yeah, it's a huge legacy.
Yeah, you once spoke about that when Jim Steinmeyer. I mean, it's very hard to have someone with this dedication and expertise, and it's very tough. It will be a very tough day for the magic community, I think, because he invented 99% of the illusions that magicians do in the world, and
the way magicians think, I'm sure now many people say, oh, well, you should mention, if you talk about creativity and the contribution of living magicians to what we see on stage and social media and television today, many people should be mentioned. But, of course it's true, but here's one who, I'm not saying this because he helped me personally a lot, but of course I looked when I was a teenager. I looked at David Copperfield's specials and his name in the credits, and I thought, oh, will I ever be able to talk to that guy?
Yeah.
So I know this feeling well of being starstruck by quality. Now, enough of that. It seems so.
So you'll need to present us to Jim
I'm sure he doesn't
Steinmeyer
like to
someday.
hear that, but yes, but I mean, obviously. We're standing on the shoulders of
Perhaps
giants.
we might go to there to film a podcast with him. It will be unbelievable.
Yes, he should. Yes, he should.
I would love to
do that here.
We'll take everything: the TV, the microphones, the tables.
Yeah, it'll be really amazing.
Do you work a lot for magicians, or how do you?
Not so much anymore. I think when I started out with my first act, manipulating bells and sunglasses, I think I did a lot of magic conventions and festivals, and nowadays I think my favorite kind of shows are public shows, theater shows, being on tour. But I still do it, and I still get a kick out of it. The same reason as why I'm happy here today. You meet people who are basically in the same process as you are, and who can you talk to when about developing magic? But another magician who also has to go to workshops, to carpenters, to people who work with metal, and go, I need this, and they ask you, how many? You 10,000 or no? I need just one, just the one. No,
That's right. We have been there because we have been building smaller things, and we have been in a lot of worksmith and the carpenters. It's
So
you always work together on development and what is
It depends. I'm also a magician. I don't sell magic to other magicians, so I perform more. And so any development that I usually do, I do it for myself. But we have worked together in some projects. Yes, where we developed the products and the ways of using it. Also, I've tested, so I'm also a tester of João Miranda's projects sometimes. So
the test in front of an audience, in front of real people, does it really work? Or
It's only when it actually works. So the trick is okay to be seen, So I don't test. I mean, rough.
you don't go
just when
in front of people with a prototype.
Yes, no. So it's, but it's. I like it because it's a way that you have to show your ideas to other people and see their reaction, see if it's good, see how comparable it is with other routines that you perhaps.
And already, 1,000
process.
topics open up. Like, is there magic that is only good for magicians? That is good as a dealer's item,
Yes.
That
And
magicians
that there is a lot of
talk about this, right?
Magic that is created and so
Never
just
performed.
for magicians, that those kind of tricks that only appeals for magicians because of the method, for example.
Some are just for the social media, and they do it one
Also
time to
that.
get 1,000 views, and they place it in a drawer or sell it. It's a strange world, but it's how it is.
It's actually a question that I would like to ask you is how do you see magic in the future being the audience nowadays more into social media? So because you perform a lot, you perform for real audiences, but it's growing, it's evolving in a way that Perhaps the audience isn't anymore on the theater, but on your screen, you know. So
yeah, I hope
how
I
do you
can.
see?
I don't know if I can say something of value about this. As
Of course you can.
Well, it is a real audience. Of course, it's a big audience. Some say that it has taken the place of television in many ways. So today, inside or outside of the magic scene, if you want to have an idea for yourself, if you want to get an effect public, the easiest way, of course, is to do it on Instagram or as a YouTube short or something like that. I like it, of course, because it keeps magic popular, and it keeps magic popular for a very young audience. And everybody, let's say 60 and upward, who says that magic on social media is not real magic, I mean, we can't agree to that, because that's the future audience, even in theaters, and it's a future audience in general. It's interesting to me how magic changes for social media, how we spoke about this today, how coins have become popular again. Now everybody does amazing coin slides on social media. Of course, we talk about certain angles that some stuff only works for a special perspective. But on the other hand, that's fine. I think it's a kind of magic. If it adjusts to a medium, why not?
Also on stage, you have those kind of
Exactly.
restrictions,
Yes.
some illusions.
If it's not in the round, it also
of course, you need to watch it from a certain angle. So
can
why
predict
not
angles,
on television as well? And I think the magic being on streaming platforms, social media, whatever, is also a way to have magic more democratic, because when you because
democratic.
yes, it reaches
Elected by the people.
No. Perhaps democrat is not the real translation in English, but what I mean is that it reaches everyone, from every rich, poor, people that has more knowledge, culture than others.
If the algorithm allows it, right? If you post it at the right time of day, and
but that's another. Issue.
I think it's very interesting. I'm not an expert. Far from
allows from someone that usually doesn't go to theaters to see magic or concerts. It allows people to have a contact with magic, even though if they don't have money to go to the theaters to see a live show, for example. So it's something,
or as a way to promote the shows, the real shows, the live shows as well.
It's also democratic in that sense that no TV channel editing team, committee sort of creates the content, but everybody, each individual is responsible for their content. It's really interesting how the dynamics of this, that you have to completely change your material into maybe smaller pieces. If it's TikTok, YouTube Shorts, it has to work instantly. So there, the time when long stories were told before the effect came would be tough or gone for this medium. There's probably other places in theater.
Challenge in live shows as well. So when you walk in on the stage,
they can get away 10 seconds after you started.
You can, but that's more difficult, right? Because they need to
shut the doors.
Shut the doors. They need to raise and walk by.
But so you have to keep their attention, even if they yesterday have seen a special effects movie and they're the way
that's also that. Yes, because people are nowadays much more used to see special effects, and so conventional magic, it's you need to step up
The game.
from there. Yes, but
Really interesting how is it only a matter of timing? You know, the first effect has to come after 2 or 3 seconds, or is it the nature of the effect? You know, it can't be feather flowers anymore, and so a lot to think about there.
You are removing from the equation the magician. I still think it's very important the empathy that you show. You can show more easily and have that connection with the spectators on live shows, but also on the screen. It's also very important that you have that connection with whoever is watching you. So don't remove the magician from the equation.
Definitely.
Just keeping the effects. Of course, the effect must be good, must be visual, because that's what it's all about. But also who performs it. I think it has some power to.
Oh, definitely. In the beginning, everybody thought, oh, if you do TikTok, you have to be younger than 20 or something like that. And
that
nowadays we see people in different ages functioning there and having followers because it's a special kind of content. So it's really pluralistic. So it develops at an amazing speed. Something that was true, I don't know, a month ago may not be true today. Facebook, I remember, was something for younger users, and now it's sort of
it's completely opposite.
It's the opposite, you know, and this has changed rapidly.
Yes.
Right. So I wonder. It's this theory of early and late adapters. Shall we, as magicians, try and be as quick as we can adapting to this new media world, or there's purists who say, well, no, the best kind of magic is live in front of an audience. I wouldn't agree personally, but I understand what they mean.
Exactly the question I wanted to ask you. Did you develop something for these types of media already, or are you that kind of purist? That
no, not at all. Recently, we shot 10 little things where I combine a visual effect and a joke, because that's what I do on stage most of the time now. I've been doing stand-up comedy for some time, and I really love that combination of comedy and magic. So I try to find a format there. I don't concentrate on social media. I still see myself as a live performer, as a magician on tour. But I think it's interesting for me to
please continue
explore
that way. Please continue that way, because there are so many people doing things online, and there is a handful of people that do what you do in magic, and it's a shame that there are very few people that don't simply buy tricks and perform them. You know, why do you think there are very few people like you creating original illusions, only original illusions? I mean, why do you think that is? Why? It's because you start you were
probably hard.
Very, I know, but
no, but
it's easier to buy the whole thing.
There is a number of people who do that still.
Very few. You could perhaps name 5 people?
No, there's more.
Much more.
There's much more, and many
Grand illusions.
Okay. Yeah, but of course there's
5, 10.
You cannot compare. You cannot compare to the number of people who buy your products and then create 5-digit follower numbers.
It's different because Grand Illusions, it's something more. I think it's because it's more difficult. What you said, I've built one illusion that took me 2 years, and it was a very hard process. You know, so
it's also about longevity, right? We have to create our followers and a certain online presence. To sell tickets if we're magicians on tour, and it always depends on the definition of the performer. If we're talking about performers at all, you're creators as well. So, but if you're a performer, so where do I perform? Do I perform inside the magic world? Do I perform outside the magic world? Do I perform at theaters on tour, or do I go in Germany? There's variety theaters, for instance, where you can perform almost nameless. In other words, people come for the genre, not for you personally, but they come to see a variety show, jugglers, magicians, and so on. You can do that, and then you don't need to have a lot of followers, because people come for the production.
Right.
That may be casino shows in the States, or but then again, you have to have followers to fill the room there. But in Germany, certainly, it's different. Do you need to have a certain kind of audience that comes just to see you, or do you work in formats on cruise ships, in corporate shows, where they don't know you, but they're hopefully happy to see you as programmed entertainment? So I don't think it's possible nowadays to ignore social media. And the question, of course, is what kind of material do we want to perform? Is it original stuff like you create and then give back to the market? Then you also change magic.
Yeah, but
when you invent something, much like Jim Steinmeyer for illusions and other people, then you change what the audience can see. And
I think it's important.
It's very important. Else, we always see linking rings and doff pants.
It's what I told you. Or
egg-bags.
there will not exist cars. We'll still have horses riding people around, and there are cars now, So it's like, I'm not saying that all magicians that perform grand illusions should be original. No, it's very hard. But I just wish that there were more people like you in grand illusions on stage, and there are not, unfortunately.
It's two ways to look at it. Like I said in the beginning, on one hand, if magic is a novelty addition to an entertainment show, and the audience is not educated in, is this original? Is this something we've never seen before? If we want to keep it like that, we can keep on performing the same stuff. And that's a little sad. Then it will not evolve like other art forms do. Right. But if we change, then an audience may come back and they go, oh wow, I've seen a magician and it was very different. So maybe if I go there a second time, I see yet another kind of act, and maybe the magic's image in general changes, which is a naive hope, maybe.
Yes, I think so.
But it can only help if, that is, the new stuff is as good as the classics. There's also people who say, well, new stuff, fine, but is it as good as an egg bag?
Yeah.
and I think, seeing your stuff, and of course many things, especially when you look at recent manipulation from Korea and so many things.
It's crazy. Yeah.
There is such great new stuff that it gives you hope for creating magic. It's possible. It's just not true that everything has been done before.
Yes, it's true. Yeah. Let me ask you. So you were a champion when you were 16, a FISM champion, which is unbelievable. We should all agree, I think. Okay.
Well, but
it's unbelievable.
But easy to explain. It's always people who help you. In my case, Eberhard Riese from Stuttgart, who was my mentor and trainer and gave me ideas. So at least I've never done a lot on my own, all by myself. So, there's always been many people helping me. And Eberhard Riese was the beginning. Until today, I ask him about stuff. And then later other people from the Magic Circle of Stuttgart, Niels Bennett, Andy Häusler, later Helge Thun, who introduced me to improvisational comedy and theater and full evening formats and all of this. So I was just lucky in the sense to meet
those people.
To meet those people who are willing to share their knowledge and willing to help you, because either you meet people who can't help you a lot, or very often you meet great people, but they don't want to help you. They don't want to share their knowledge. And I was extremely lucky to have both. And you notice this when, for some reason, you then spend time as a working magician outside of your country, and you realize just how much they gave to you when you don't have it for some time. So I know there's some people who are completely independent of others. That's why I asked in the beginning how much is collaboration with you, and how much, because some people have to write by themselves, and outside influence is a distraction. I don't know if it's like this for you, and other people only work in a team. I'm maybe a mixture. I like writing, when I'm in a plane or on a train, or I really like to write down ideas. It makes me happy because it's not a lot of work there. It's just sheer playing around in my head.
Yes. And so, but from that,
can you relate? Yeah.
Yes. From that, there's something that can grow into something absolutely amazing. Right.
There's yet no money, no workshops, no hard work, no transportation, no repairing. That's the sheer pleasure in the beginning.
Yeah. Do you think of it's a typical question, but do you think normally on the idea that you want to achieve and you don't have any method? Or you start with the method first and then it evolves? Because it's different,
I know.
Or perhaps both. I don't know. Usually,
I don't know. Okay. It's the honest truth. I don't know. Sometimes it was. Sometimes I start with the effects. I think I start with the effect more often than with the principle. And these are the two ways, right, to do it. But I've no system. And we found out today. We talked like this in this speed for the whole day.
The whole day.
And there's. You cannot really, there's just no formula. You cannot really say, where did you get that idea? That it's almost a joke when people say, where do you get your ideas? You don't know.
You see yourself finding, for example, inspiration in songs, music, or in objects, or in a landscape, for example, or more like in concepts, for example, love, or do you explore all these
music?
starters?
Yes, music. Yes,
because you are so a singer, right?
No, not really. No, really. I mean,
you shouldn't call it a singer.
I've been around singers in a sound booth, and you sing into a microphone, and then the guy has to, in my case, Derek von Krog, producer in Stuttgart, tries to push it up and auto cue,
make it look
auto tune
better.
it and make it sound better, and then there's a singer who does, and then it's perfect. He doesn't have to touch it anymore, and then you realize the difference. I'm really not. I can pretend a little bit, but not really. So music, yes, big inspiration. Landscape, no. Unfortunately. Love and general concepts sometimes, not necessarily love. Childhood and youth was a theme for me all the time. It sounds like a cliche, but I really think that a childlike playing around is very close to what creativity is.
You have a routine based on that.
I think it's like playing plus taste and experience. To me, is like as close as a formula to creativity I know. And time passing, in other words, the fact that we grow older and things change, that always was a theme for me. But I think I don't think magic and theater are the same thing. And theater has, I think, a much easier time to say something meaningful about these abstract topics. An ambitious card can tell you only so much about love, I think. I know people will kill me. I know if the words are right, but I admire the concept of magie nouvelle, where the aesthetics are art in itself, even without necessarily a retellable message, if that makes any sense. Because very often when somebody says, okay, now my magic is art, and he gives you a text that has nothing to do with a professor's nightmare he performs, to me it's sometimes a little pretentious. I want it on the same level. And if of course Derek Del Gaudio's in and of itself blew all of us away, my friends in magic and myself, where all of a sudden it's all on this level. For the first time, a magician is honest in the history of magic. And for the first time, there's meaningful stuff told. And with magic at the highest quality. That's why this, to me, was so outstanding and complete game changer. Unfortunately, magic, I don't know, hasn't changed. But many people haven't changed their effects that may not have a meaning, performing their effects that may not have a meaning. But this, to me, would be, or Teller's Shadows, this, to me, would be a moment where magic becomes art, where magic can tell something, where the aesthetics and the quality of magic is on the same level as the storytelling. But very often when it's not like this, I would rather see a great magic trick performed straight instead of trying to give it meaning that maybe the performer himself cannot really express, if I may say so. But it's all of this is just blah, blah. When you see it, most of the time, a large amount of people in the audience have the same judgment about it. If it's well done, and we feel it doesn't want to be something else than what it really is, then we accept it and we think it's great.
And it's okay if it's just for the trick, just for the illusion.
Definitely.
It doesn't need to convey a message, a meaning, or
no, not at all.
It can be an option. It can be, but it's okay if it's just for the show.
Well, who's to decide what is okay or not in art? When we look at, I don't understand too much about art, conceptual art in general, but I understand that message is not a means of quality. In other words, when there's a painting and the aesthetics of it, we get down to defining art. When the aesthetics of it have meaning, it doesn't have to tell the story of a battle like a Dutch master, So I think, and especially with magic, I enjoy straight, great magic, and to me, it does something even if it's not telling a story on another level.
Yes,
it tells you that your perception is fallible.
Yeah,
and that already to me is something. Is a message in this
as
day
long
and
as
age.
it touches you in some way, right? I mean,
definitely,
it must.
Perhaps it's the spectators who also need to find meaning in whatever you're doing. Maybe you don't need to convey this message. The spectators will find it anyway. So if you're doing Professor's Nightmare straight out of the box, perhaps people will find a meaning to that, but you're just performing like standard routine.
Yes.
Why not?
Why not? More than why not? We love it, and we can already start to our interpretations, artistic interpretations. I've heard Juan Tamariz say in an interview that a painter imitates nature and a magician imitates art, imitates God. So here is your general human experience of not being able to explain everything, and that's us on this planet. We don't know where we come from, we don't know where we go. All of these philosophical questions. So somebody can demonstrate this with very simple objects, and this takes you to a very basic moment of your a basic experience of your human existence. We cannot explain everything. If a magician can fool my eyes, You know, what are the other things that I that are going on, and it's just an interpretation what I see. Very difficult, but in general, so interesting. That's why no audience can ignore magic. I feel it either does something to you emotionally or intellectually.
I agree. That's the goal.
I sometimes I think how it would be for you to show magic to some other being from another planet, because they don't have this. I mean, I assume they don't have this concept of impossibility that we do. So we are
maybe mind reading is everyday practice for them.
someone out there, you know. So
and they don't need a wallet.
Yeah, they don't need
a wallet on the table. Yeah, a friend of mine, Pete Hartling, an amazing magician from Germany, and also probably one of the most intelligent magicians I know, said one time when somebody mentioned, "Oh, how superficial are billiard balls? You know, if I could really do magic, why would I make colored balls appear?" And he says, "Well, if I am a god and can make things appear, why can't I be a playful god making little color balls just for the fun of it?"
Yeah,
you know,
right.
So all of this interesting, but to me, the basic thing is, you know, where we came from now. Where do I start? Do I want to express a concept, and can I do that adequately? And or am I just interested, like you, in new methods, new magic, and even without another level meaning, to me that's something I strive for.
Yeah.
Let me ask you one thing. Do you agree or disagree that everything in magic needs to be justified? So if you are making a routine,
motivated.
Sorry?
Motivated, yeah. Where's the motivation? Why do you need?
I was thinking more of in the presence of objects or
origami, for example. Why you do perform it? Why placing? Do you think there should be meaning in something like that? For a girl goes inside, you'll transform a rectangle into a square and place 3 swords, or if your version of the origami will be different, perhaps it's not a cube, it's like a package, or how will you perform this? Will you do it the same way or not? You're right.
Why would we link silver metal rings just to take them apart a few moments later? Again, it's all a philosophical thinking. Maybe to demonstrate that we can overcome the laws of nature. How nice it would be for the audience to identify with overcoming everyday problems, you know.
But the linking rings routine, you show a ring that doesn't exist anywhere. So do you somehow justify that ring? So it, for example, this one came out of the car, or this one.
I think I understand. You mean why shouldn't we take only objects that the audience knows, can recognize,
also, yes.
like
magic props?
You know, like a cup, an iPhone, could be any phone, and just do magic with that instead of strange boxes in strange shapes that do not exist anywhere else in the world but in a magic shop. I think, like in other art forms, there's abstract art, for instance. So the abstract idea of melting metal, you demonstrate with these rings that do not exist anywhere else in the world, but they immediately understand, okay, I hear the sound, so they are metal. And then they think of solid penetrating solid in general.
Okay.
I think especially close-up magicians find it very irritating when we introduce an object that does not exist in the world of spectators. On stage, it may be again a different thing.
Okay.
You know, something could be interesting and yet not common, like an origami.
More scenic.
Yeah,
right?
like an origami. You know, when you see a Rubik's Cube for the first time, when you see a puzzle for the first time, you don't immediately go, well, but this is too big for a cube and you cannot use it for playing, but this is a toy in general. So I guess there can be other concepts for this. Not every zigzag has to look like a cupboard. You know, so but it's made for magic, especially. If that's just off the top of my head what I would say. But I understand what you're saying. I understand that magic may be seen by many people like strange and artificial and even superficial, because a guy on stage handles stuff that look like only a magic box.
Exist anywhere
feather
else.
flowers, and you know, it doesn't look like a flower. It's obviously
Yes, you said that
not
in a
real,
lecture. It's
you know?
not a flower. You said something in your lecture because
Evadrise said that everybody should throw away feather flowers.
because they look like a cleaning thing, to clean the house.
I mean, in general, when all the illusions we see on stage would look like furniture, a little more like furniture, something would be gained from this. And of course, we know great magicians, like people we talked about, who do that. You know,
And you also do that. It's coming to my mind that one. I mean, you have several routines, but there is one with the speakers where you have like the tray, the cards that is. You know,
it's a good and bad example, because the card looks like taken from an industrial place, yet there are no colored speakers. You know, so it could be, you know, it would be one really critical argument against the act would be, oh, look, that's a typical magic act, red speakers. And of course, this is for the loss of things on stage, that there's a variety of colors, and you can easily, you know, imagine I would make 11 black speakers
giving
appear.
it meaning.
Yeah, it's you know, the harsh critique, oh, that's kitsch colored speakers, and the more the theater experience critique would be it has a review value that they are colored, and it goes with pop music and all of this.
Depends the way you see it.
It depends on the way you see it. In general, I think, though, you're right. I think we magicians have very often a lack of taste. You know, we have great understanding about psychology. We love methods. Sometimes we understand dramaturgy, the laws of theater, but rarely, only the greatest among us and the most popular have a sense of fashion, taste in music, in costumes, in our words, our jokes. Typically, I think we're seen as hacks. You know, we tell the jokes that are in the description of the trick, and that's quite sad. And sometimes even the greatest among us look like, you know, dress a little younger than they should, and all of this. So yeah, I mean, magicians would, and I'm including myself, of course. We should all look at popular culture and the way people are dressed and what movies are like in a contemporary from a contemporary point of view.
Depends of the culture. I mean, where you're from, your livings, your age as well. So it's a mix of many factors.
Yeah, but when you look at movies, I think there's accepted aesthetics. You know, and of course, we're Americanized from the dominating movie country, but I mean, some magic shows look like really 20 or 30 years back. And that's where I think you're completely right when you say, how do you motivate using this? You know, what time are we living in? How can you justify putting that on stage? Yes, it's a magic prop, but no table in the real world looks like that.
Yes,
And has these hinges and yeah. But I mean, that's true. I think it's just true. And that's why we always love it when magic is hip, when some magicians are, can be accepted, can stand next to a music group and not look like circus hacks. That's I guess just and it's been true as long as I've been in magic, as long as I know magic. It's always been like this, that only the greatest ones have taste.
You can you look at the photograph, a group of people, and you say, that one is a magician.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. So that's a very sad podcast, isn't it?
So let's change subject.
Let's change subject.
Yes. Let's okay.
Let's do a trick. No.
Yeah. Set of flowers anyway.
Yeah, there are those flowers that disappear. I have ones by that look okay, but normally though that pot with the flowers that disappear does not look like flowers.
Nope.
Looks like those cleaning.
Oh, but don't we love the mechanics? The speed
mechanics.
Of course.
Don't we love that? That's why we keep it.
Yeah.
That's why I saw one in your.
That's right.
You're guilty of having one.
That's right.
But isn't the mechanics amazing?
Amazing. Yeah. And there was a version that I saw that John Gone had, which was like a lamp that disappeared.
Yeah.
Very old one. Yes. That's better.
And we don't care if a lamp like that does not exist.
Yeah.
You won't find it anywhere in IKEA.
That's right.
But yeah.
How did you started creating grand illusions? Because you did an amazing manipulation act, and then now you do amazing original grand illusions. How was the transition from manipulation to starting to grand illusions?
I wanted to do a full evening magic show. Full evening, strange.
Full evening.
Yeah, strange is a strange term. As if filling an evening would be the main goal. But I guess it was, a complete theater show, and I found that. I wanted to do it for, 500, 600, up to 1,000 people. And I had some ideas for illusions.
Where those ideas came from?
See, it's
the same question. Okay.
I don't know. I really don't know.
How old were you
when
you created the first grand illusion? Do you remember? And which illusion it was?
I think it must have been around 91.
I was 5.
91, 92. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And what was it? We did a subtrunk, a metamorphosis version with a flight case that was designed like a costume trunk. Mm-hmm. So it had drawers in one side and a costume in the other, and we closed it and put it on its side, and did that was in the first show, a levitation, which was unfortunately only original in its method and not in its effect.
Okay.
Which tells you a lot about the way I think.
So the effect was the same, exactly the same?
The effect was we had a leaning to Roxanne and I, my wife had a leaning effect towards each other, which I still like as an introduction to a levitation routine. But the effect, levitating and an Astra-like disappearance, was independent of the theater, therefore a new technology, mm-hmm. but completely over the top mechanically. It's just too complicated. You must have liked it. And yeah, so I think those were those the first. I think so. Yeah.
Wow. Because you have so many original illusions, it's crazy.
Well, you should, when you compare this number to, let's say, Danny Larry from France, was the I think always, at least in later years, always the closing act in Le Plus Grand Cabaret du Monde, this French television show.
Yes.
And he did one illusion each episode. I don't know how there must be a
some
number
crazy
between
ones.
200 and 400, some crazy ones, some historical ones. So and there was one created for each episode.
I've seen many of his work. It's crazy.
It's crazy. So again, it's always you can compare in many directions.
Yes.
I would like to ask you something. So you are well known for your manipulation acts, also Grand Illusions. You have a show on tour. What other I will say tricks, but what other personas you also? Do you do mentalism, for example? Do you do card tricks, even on stage? And if you do mentalism, for example, what's your character? Are you more playful on the mentalism, or are you more mysterious? Because we know you from, seeing you on TV and with Grand Illusions. It's hard to disassociate and see you doing like.
I think I simply couldn't do a straight, in any way, real mentalism in the sense that it's
not you.
As a mystical, but no, it's not me. I found out very, very soon that I'm part of my heart is a comedian. So when I do mentalism, I have a T-shirt prediction where somebody from the audience comes to the stage and they tell me their name and the city they come from, and I have a present in a small suitcase hanging from the ceiling, and they get it in the end, and it says everybody loves this person, especially in that city.
Okay.
So, but it's all very playful, and there's a socks over the head Slidini inspired routine in the middle of it. So whenever I do that, I try and the closest thing I've ever done to serious mentalism was Georgia Wonder routine with my partner, and I still like that today. And it's so interesting the way mentalism works together with an illusion show from a comedic magician. Because even though I was joking a lot during the show and had illusions and obvious magic, a magician's approach, people after the show said, "Yeah, that's all very funny," and we laughed. But when the two spectators couldn't get their hands apart, that was real, right? So it's amazing to me. Even I, with this personality, when I do that, and the method is convincing, people are still close to believing there must be something real going on. That's how strong mentalism as an idea is. I shouldn't be surprised by it, but when you experience it yourself, you go, "Oh wow,
Yeah,
it's really you think I can snap my fingers and people cannot take their hand from their head and things like that." That was an interesting experience to learn that people are ready to believe, even in a theater surrounding, are ready to believe there's something like
the supernatural, right?
Yes. Yeah. There's a need for that.
You explore different things. You mentioned that you have a full stand-up show. You do stand-up comedy as well. Do you have this goal of perhaps in the future to try a new character? Maybe not before a live show, but just for you, I don't know, the change of style of going for a more supernatural or mysterious, or I don't know, explore other characters in magic. Perhaps you'd like to explore it as an exercise, not as
I like variety in my expression. I do like sentimental moments. I don't like claiming to have supernatural powers at all, because, and that's a very private opinion, because I just don't think it's necessary for an impressive magic show to claim such powers. To me, a horror movie can be quite frightening, even without believing that zombies exist. So to me, I like the artistic approach that this is literature and theater. I don't have to pretend that I could do readings after the show. So I will never go there, and I don't like it actually. But I like sort of action magic and comedic magic and maybe sentimental moments in between. Not a lot, maybe one or two. And I like this variety of expression. And I think we don't have much of a choice because we're not actors. I think we have, as magicians, a hard time finding out what we can do at all. No, we're not like trained actors who can say, okay, now I try now. I cannot be a romantic lead. I cannot be, and I don't want to be a supernatural magician. So I think we all have limitations of what we can convincingly portray. I think some have a wider variety of expression, but in magic especially, that's not our strong.
It's a limitation.
A strong part. We have our limitations in terms of expression.
For example, regarding the treadmill levitation, I don't know if it's the correct name of the...
Not very mystical, that one, yeah.
No, I mean, it's amazing. And now you rotate with a lot of style in the treadmill. I'll try to do that. Probably I will fall. Is there a secret for that? To rotate just... You are on top and you do it like a spin, really with a lot of style. It's...
I try. It's very, very nice of you.
No, it's true. I will try, and I'll probably be running away. So you told me that most of the method and most of the mechanics you think and you design, and to help when you start producing these effects. So do you have any kind of background on mechanical, or just through experience that you are able to guess these methods? Because if you tell me now, I do many mechanical things, there's no smaller, not grand illusions, but if you tell me, can you, João, please try to come up with a method for that effect and draw it on a paper, I probably will not be able to, but you did it.
Oh, you would be able to.
You think so?
I think so. You're used to the situation that you wanted to achieve an effect, and now you have to go for a method. I think that's your everyday situation, isn't it?
But that one, because you are upside down and you float up and down and left and right. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's...
Well, but in your case, there's numbers on the paper and there's predictions and smoke coming from places where people can produce smoke.
But a human being...
And it's not you don't eat beans or anything. No, it comes from your hand.
But a human being, it's...
Well, many people would laugh when they hear you say that. In my surrounding around, people who help me, I'm fortunate to have a group of people who help me realize my stuff.
A team is very important. Yeah,
it is important, and it's also changing. There's people are added to the team. You find new people, but basically, it's very often people outside of magic who manufacture your ideas.
Good, amazing people, very
carpenters, metal workers, people who understand a lot about their field, but not necessarily about magic. And I guess this constellation makes for the best results. Because they are much better than most people. No offense, most people who are magic dealers and built only for a card duck as one hinge, I guess. It's true, no, 2 hinges. Anyway, so when you say what is your background, no background. Very often I'm standing in
You
a
are
workshop.
just very smart.
No. It's just that I've been doing it for such a long time that, and maybe my mouth is so big that I stand in the room in the workshop with them and I go, oh no, please, can I think it's possible. I have seen something similar. And they say, no, it's not possible. And I go, well, maybe it's our, like a child who says, I want to float over a treadmill. And but it's necessary. And I know a little bit about mechanics, a little bit, from these 20, 30 years standing next to it and watching stuff. Of course, I know a little bit, but could I build it myself? Never.
Yes.
Could I make a drawing? Never. It's just this making ends meet, I guess, bringing together your ideas and those people. I know them well. I know those who want to start as late as possible so they don't waste any material and prototypes, and I have to make them start, and so it's a very strange.
And you don't make prototypes with, for example, when you do a base, you don't do with cardboard or foam.
I have done that, but it's now of course terrible. It's all coat hangers, cardboard, and gaffer tape.
Just to have an aesthetic look, or
no.
To see if it fits or no.
Yes, more the dimensions and
exactly. It's
it's
important to do like a mock-up or before.
Do you spend a lot of money doing prototypes and because
I spend a lot of money.
Can be expensive to
very. Look at his face. How the pain in his face when you just mention the word money and development. It goes in many different directions. The skin of his face, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare.
So anyone that wants to build grand illusions, please don't. It's a nightmare, right?
Well, with illusions, it's especially bad because it's even more expensive than inventing a card trick.
Yes.
And electronics, if such things exist, like electronics for magic, the parts in themselves are of course not as expensive. But when you go to a carpenter and you go, okay, please build me a table and a big box on it, and then I'll try if it works, then the first one, which doesn't work, is already very expensive. Mm-hmm. Well, we shouldn't complain. It's of course it's when it works eventually, it's great.
It pays off, right?
We've said before, there's 2 happy moments. Only, unfortunately, 2 happy moments in the development process. The first time you think of it, and the first time it works in front of an audience.
The whole process.
Everything else in between and after is pain. Look at his face. Look at his face. He's biting in the microphone.
It's kind of rewarding. I mean, we enjoy. It's a pain, of course. It costs
we only
money,
enjoy it,
but we enjoy the process. I mean.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Depends. If you want to, if you have the idea of floating on a treadmill and go up and down and left or right, it's a pain. It's a pain.
Yes.
But you must love magic, and you made it happen, right? You made it happen.
Yes. It's really interesting. It's really, and like I've said, we've talked the whole day about it, and without a real result, is it worth it? Yes, we have to say. Is there any method to it? Is there something, when you do this for a long time, do you get better at it? I don't think so. Today, I think it takes me as long to develop something new, maybe, well, I would say as long as it took me 30 years ago, because every project is different.
New challenges.
You cannot do everything with the same principle, because now it's a completely new effect, and you have to solve the problem. Of course, you probably go to electronics first, I guess. Mm-hmm. Is that true?
Yes, and motors and those things.
But imagine you have to do something where electronics just doesn't help you. It's a penetration effect. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've done the metal phone. I told you the metal phone.
The metal phone. It's not very electronic.
It's not electronic at all. 2 years of insisting and trying, and dozens of prototypes, and spending a lot of money. And
he has shown me. I won't say what it is, but he has shown me a project. 15 minutes of a project, and I cringed so badly. I was in a ball of just a completely sphere on his on the driver's on the seat next to the driver. You know, like, because I know this how frustrating it is during the process. Sometimes I think I can almost draw a graph of this development thing. In the beginning, like I said, it's very happy, and then you go, oh yeah. We all of a sudden there's a big problem, big problem, and you get stuck, and then if you're lucky, you can leave it for a few days. But maybe not. Maybe there's maybe you need a new product.
How do you deal with that failure? Because you have built so many grand illusions. You failed a lot. Like it's
you kind of need a lot of motivation, right? It helps to have a purpose for what you are developing. So a show or because if it's
a goal. I have a goal.
I mean, for João, it's to market the product.
Sure.
Okay.
Pays the rent.
I guess, but it helps if you are motivated, and if you do it alone by yourself, sometimes this motivation can be a little,
it's tough.
Down.
It's tough.
Do you have a team that
I do have a team.
Surround yourself with creative people?
Yes, I do have a team, but even that, when you go to the same guys. Sometimes you don't agree about the idea. Sometimes they tell you, no, that's not a good idea, and you go, yeah, it is a good idea. It's nature and nurture. You know, it's your nature of being playful and liking to create is the foundation. We are like that. But then there's nurture. Something happened to you where you had a great success with something original. You know, in my case, Eberhard Riese, when I was 10 years old, just told me that, of course, if you do something original, you know, people cannot compare you to other magicians. You're ahead of the game in some way. So, and then I did competition. So I was brought up like that. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I didn't have much of a choice. If I was a banker, I would probably buy more props and put more money in marketing. So it's also how the way you're brought up. I grew up at magic conventions, and it's a celebration of new things, of course. Mm-hmm. But it's in a way also an unreal world. It's not the real entertainment world. So let me ask you, how do you hang in there and not give up? What do you do?
There are days that are really tough. You know, in my case, because I work with ER7, and it's tough because you need to manage production. You need to think about the trailer.
People on your payroll.
Yes, a lot, and you need to think of everything. The production. You need to think on the cost. You need to see what everyone is doing, because we must have a lot of productivity. You know, because there are a lot of costs. You know, so sometimes it's tough. It's tough, but at the end of the day, it's the real love for magic. You know, it's like
that sounds so. You know, so it's that as if that would be the answer. Just love magic, and it comes to you.
I will tell you the one day that I stop enjoying what I do, I simply stop.
Did you ever have a project where you really had to give up? You didn't find any solution whatsoever, and you just had to throw it against the wall.
You want to take those projects?
I don't really recall. I think that there are a few that perhaps I
It's
stop.
great if you don't even. So you never had it, right?
No. Sometimes I stop and I grab another project, and perhaps 1 year or 2 years later I go back at it and I have the solution. It happened to me, you know. But doing something and I say, no, this is impossible, it didn't happen yet.
Wow.
Yet. I don't know if it will happen in the future, but because normally my mind is like this. I either make it or I stop trying. I don't care. I mean, there was this watch with a remote control, and you place anytime, and the hands go in 1 second. It was a very tough project, and I had a hard time finding a company that sold me hybrid motors, which basically are 2 motors that make the hands move independently. And I can tell this, I don't care if I need to go to China for 2 months. My goal is to make that watch work. Does not matter. It's not about a man. It's not. I'll need to make it. It's a need that I have. All that exists is I need to make it happen. Does not matter how hard, the money. I mean, the magic moment is what matters. So I have this kind of mindset, you know. So that's why I think it works for me. But it's hard. It's hard. I understand that people give up. Many people give up because it's hard. It's a hard process, you know.
And the more you are into the projects, the more money you spend, and it's hard to let go because you already spent so much money.
The longer it goes on.
There are projects that if I don't make them happen, I don't sleep anymore. I need to make them happen. My first smoke watch, I remember I had with my ex-business partner. I remember briefly we were looking for some watches in some shops there in Oporto, and I remember perfectly, and I told him, this smoke watch will happen, I'm sure, or I will die trying. And I had this mindset, you know, that's why I made it happen. If I didn't have this mindset, I'll try something and 2 times more, especially for this project, was a fan. I spoke with the Maltz company, I spoke with many companies, and I could not make a propeller as small at the end as I wanted to. So, but at the end, I made it happen, but I had this kind of mindset, you know, nothing could stop me until I had it done. So that's how it is.
That doesn't sound too healthy, you know, but it sounds very realistic. It's almost like
I'm more
like
calm now.
Like a character.
Now I'm older. I'm
form
more
of craziness, you know, to not give up, because sometimes it may be the right decision to, you know, you could go after something that's just
and Topas,
not worth going.
Yeah, for example, for the watch, I don't see nothing else in front of me. People can, when I'm so focused, people can speak to me. I can look at them, but I'm thinking about in this particular project. I mean, I'm really focused. Now I'm older, I'm a little bit more, because I have a daughter, I need to calm down. But the first days when I created the company, and it was me and just my business partner, I mean, my mindset was crazy. I mean, it's not healthy, you know, it's not healthy at all, like you said, I think.
Well, interesting, right?
Yeah.
That's...
I believe you have this kind of mindset.
Is exploiting a character defect. You know, that a certain kind of ambition, especially with these projects where you cannot tell, is it going to be 3 weeks or 3 years?
But it's the same with you.
How expensive?
It's the same with you, I'm sure, because some of your illusions are very complex. I mean, and if you give up halfway, and if you are not there with the carpenters, like you said, do this and try this, they will give up. If you don't call them every day or every week, they will stop producing it. So I'm sure you have this kind of mindset, don't you think?
I think so.
It's very important, this kind of mind. If you want to achieve something that it's important for you, you must.
Yeah, it sounds like a motivational speaker that just not giving up gives you the result. But yeah, I mean, it takes a certain kind of almost unhealthy energy to finish a project.
Yes,
but it's really interesting, because you know we know many people who are creative and many people who have ideas, but it's a different group or a small fraction of those who really finish things. You know, but everybody has ideas.
You are the finisher.
Finisher. That is.
Yeah, you are.
Sounds like an action thriller.
Yes, the finisher. Another question. Now changing.
Who listens to this? I'm so sorry. It's just the 2 of us instead of therapy. You know, this is a little cheaper than therapy. Flying the German guy to Portugal.
If you divide it by the hours,
talk about the character defects. Yeah,
it's an okay price for therapy, right? Wanted to ask you, do you have any side projects outside magic?
Yeah, comedy. That doesn't sound like
was
you were thinking of something normal, like
like a business,
Puzzles.
like a restaurant, or something like really outside of art, performing.
1.5 trick pony, I think. Being one is magic and a half comedy, or the other way around. Sometimes I don't know. There was a time when I performed almost only stand-up shows for some years, with some magic effects. But you're really a lot of very, pure stand-up comedy without effects, without batteries in things. No, I don't. So that's also something I think well, to me, even doing both magic and comedy sometimes is difficult for me. When I'm looking for audiences who are fans of one or the other genre. If you're a fan of stand-up comedy, you don't necessarily want to see somebody levitate a person, and the other way around.
And it's
a little different
perspective,
but that's outside of this. I'm sorry to say, much like you, I'm sure we are either blessed with having found something we're really passionate about since we were young, or one could say that
we are cursed.
Part of what we achieved is because we chose a very narrow path. Yeah,
I think so.
So you're not into crypto or anything? No,
okay. No, not at all. Of course, I love any kind of literature, theater, entertainment, movies, books, all of this. But I even I don't want to become too open about private life, but even when I go on holidays, I have a hard time not thinking about either magic or comedy or something, because that's what makes me feel happy. Which is, I'm not so sure if it's nice to live with a person like that, but
it's important to rest. It's important.
The thing I don't like about these things is always organization, money, logistics, and this, but since 7 or 8, the fascination for these two things haven't left me, which is good and bad, I guess.
You do stand up as well. You do magic. Are you a funny person on your daily day? Do you tell jokes to your wife? And are you that kind of guy that I don't know?
Can't help it.
Playful without being in character.
Yes, I think so. It's a way of looking at the world, really. When you experience hard times, to me, it really helps to look at it with some distance, to get a humorous kind of perspective on things. Right. It's very helpful to me, and it feels very natural. To the extent that when I have done a comedy show, and after the show, when I come down from the stage, many times I can't stop. And people say, okay, no, don't. You don't have to do anything now anymore. No observations, no nothing, please. Which tells me that it's probably right for me. But again, it has advantages and disadvantages. Do you want to be around such a guy when you don't feel well and the guy goes,
right?
Yeah, so
the same for magic.
Yes,
I assume that you don't do magic tricks with every object that you.
I can't stop having stuff in my hands, for example.
Sure, but to show other people, it's the same way that you are playful, or you make observations and make a joke out of every situation. You don't do magic out of every situation, right?
That's interesting. I don't do that so much. I don't start doing magic without people asking me.
A proper set of
because maybe
expectations.
Yeah, if I don't start and go, oh, by the way, I'm a magician, pick a card. I don't do that so much. I don't know why. Maybe I've seen too many times it go wrong, get when a magician gets on people's nerves. I know there's other philosophies about this where you put magic in everyday life and you can pull a coin from somebody's ear. Well,
you can be annoying, I understand you. Yeah.
Can be both. There is no general rule about this, but I don't find myself doing that. I find myself trying to make somebody laugh more than see, here is a bottle of orange juice all of a sudden. Yeah. But when people find out that I'm a magician, I'm sure you all know this. That's comedy gone out of the window. It doesn't matter what kind of personality you've shown to be before. Now they want to see magic. It's always interesting for me, the relationship of magic and comedy, because it's so strong, magic, in the minds of everyday people. It's comedy. I can be funny. My father-in-law can be funny, but magic nobody can do. That's special. Yeah. That's out of the
It's
equation.
extraordinary, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I wanted to ask you one other thing.
By the way, this is a 6 hours.
Be ready. Perhaps we can wrap up after this one. But
no, I don't.
This is an interesting question.
I'm happy.
I have my own thoughts about it, but wanted to know your opinion, because you do different types of performance, right? So, question: what do you think about those talent shows? Got Talent, and how you see magic in these shows. I mean, do you ever feel that magic will ever win this talent show someday? I mean, it has already happened, but it was once in a
Matt Franco and Shin Lim.
Sure, but twice in a. But the thing is, do you think magic stands or has a chance against all other arts in these talent shows?
That's a politically difficult question to answer.
Let's end the podcast right now.
No. Of course, I have an opinion about it. I've done France Got Talent and Britain's Got Talent. To me personally, I hope this is not offensive to anyone. I enjoy seeing magic in any type of media without a panel judging it.
There's also that. Yeah.
I don't need professionals pretending to be talent just to make the format, the TV format, work. I think very often in these talent, especially in the formats you've mentioned, professionals are booked to portray talents. And as a matter of fact, and we know the magicians who've been doing that, they have been professionals for a long time, but for the TV show to be good, they have to pretend they go there to present themselves as talent in front of celebrities. Yeah. So that's to me a questionable premise.
It is,
if I may say so.
It happened with some magician friends that I know that they were invited for some talent shows in different countries. They look like they are competing, but they are being actually paid to be there. And
yes, and the economical side, it would be very fair if all the talent formats would then at least offer professionals a professional fee. I'm not sure if that happens all the time. And on the other hand, all of these artists are adults who can make their own decisions. If there were more formats, more TV shows where artists can present themselves without being exposed to judges, I think we would see a lot fewer professionals pretending to be talents. I know, I understand the yellow, I almost said, quality of bringing human stories into the equation in entertainment, on backstories. He has a dog that is sick and a grandmother who has just one leg or something like that in the hospital. And all of this to me is a little beside the point. I have great respect for foolers, Penn and Teller's foolers, because they treat. There's still a panel, yes, I understand that, and it reacts to the obvious need for television world. But magic is treated more than respectfully. And there's people like Justin Willman who have to be applauded for creating their own formats without this necessity of everything is a competition, everything needs to have this fake human stories behind it. Sometimes fake, sometimes not so much. On the other hand, as I said, I don't think anybody's to blame presenting themselves there, because it's the biggest and the second biggest television show at the moment are formats like this. So, who am I to judge, including myself, going there? But, if I may say so, when there comes a time when these talent shows have been on enough and the audience is satisfied seeing people from the world of music judging a magician.
There's also that, right? Because who are they?
I'm not unhappy.
Yeah. I think there was a TV show back then in Spain that had the same concept of a talent show, except it was only magicians, and the judges were magicians. So it was like a talent show only for magic.
It was in Spain?
It was in Spain. It was called Shalakabula? No.
No.
I remember now. It's a great TV show.
I was a judge on an Italian competition show called La Grande Magia, where Max Maven, Ed Alonso, Uri Geller, myself, and am I forgetting one?
The greatest.
Were sort of judging a magic competition.
But it was for TV?
For television, for Italian television. Okay. Yeah, five episodes, I think, 4 competitions and then one final round. In general, as long as magic is in the media, as long as magic is popular and not in a 10 to 20 seconds format on your mobile phone, but also in longer formats present with ingenious performers like Justin Willman and their concepts, and Michael Carbonaro and all of these people.
Yes, they're amazing.
They're amazing, and we need that. And I'm sure there will be more. I'm sure I'm missing now, again, 10 formats all over the world. It's not only American television or Netflix. I'm sure there's other things, but let's hope that enough people will make longer formats as well, so that magic is not just one move and with electronics from Portugal.
I think it was a great takeaway. Perhaps you can wrap from here.
I mean, it means a lot to us.
10 hours. I think we have 10 hours now, right?
I think it's 100 minutes. But anyway, it's a lot.
100 minutes.
Yeah. Oh. So thank you so much, Topas. It means a lot to us to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
It was really unforgettable. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.